Hi, I hope you're doing well. I feel like it's been forever since I just sat down and talked about knitting, so I thought we could go through my summer knitting plans today. As always, I do have a lot of rollover from previous seasons. I'm just like way too committed to a project. Once I've got the idea in my head that I'm gonna make it, I have to see it through, and there's a few things that I didn't get around to in spring. So I'll just run through those really quickly for fear of repeating myself. I still want to make the Ophelia tank top by Starcross Knit. The only reason I haven't cast that one on yet is because I still have my mixture of cami on my needles, and I want to finish that before starting another fingering weight tank top. I still want to freehand a ribbed zip up sweater. Some people did send in some really good pattern suggestions if I wanted to follow a pattern, but I have a really specific vision in my mind and I want to try and see it through. And also I still want to make the silhouette top by Licka Knit. I actually recently got the yarn for that one. This is the Rainbow Bamboo by Hobbii. This is in colour number 23 and it's a mix of viscose and cotton. I love the colour, and I'm also thinking of doing this top with some tiny hook and eye closures instead of buttons. So that's on my rollover plans. I managed to tick off everything else off my spring knitting plans list. But before we dive into my summer knitting plans, I want to tell you a little bit about the sponsor of today's video, which is Linnear. Linnear is a sustainable jewellery brand that focuses on providing high quality jewellery at a fair price. This is actually my second time working with Linnear. The first was in April, where they gifted me this necklace here. This is their Fleur necklace. And when I tell you I have not taken this off since I put it on 3 months ago, I wear it in the shower, I wear it to bed, I've worn it surfing, I wear it to the gym. It looks so dainty, but it's surprisingly robust, and I really appreciate that because I am so lazy with my jewellery. Like, once I put an item of jewellery on, I can't be bothered to take it off. Linnear also has a 2-year warranty on all their jewellery, so I'm not worried about being overly precious with this either. The necklace is made out of 14 karat white gold, and I also have the matching bracelet here. This is the Florence bracelet. It's also made out of 14 karat white gold. This is actually a new and improved version of this bracelet. I think they've updated the design so it's even more robust. And then the last Linnear piece that I'm wearing is the Caris necklace. I am in love with this one. I think the way the pearl just sits right on my collarbone is so elegant. Again, this necklace is made out of 14 karat white gold and the pearl is a freshwater pearl. I think these two necklaces pair so well together and make the perfect little necklace stack. There's not a single outfit I've worn where I don't think they match, and they also create a great base for if I want to wear a lot of jewellery and go for that look of lots of layered necklaces. Wearing these pieces makes me feel so chic and put together, especially having a matching necklace and bracelet. It's the sort of tiny detail that I would always notice in other people's accessories and outfits, but didn't used to think that I could make that much effort myself. But since these pieces are made to last, they're so low maintenance and I don't have to think about which jewellery I'm wearing every day. And also, as you can see, I wear a lot of ear piercings, I have my nose ring, and they're all exclusively silver. I just don't think that gold jewellery suits me, and I love that Linnear offers white gold jewellery. In my experience, that's pretty hard to find. Obviously, these are all some of the highest quality jewellery materials, but as Linnear sells directly to customers online, they're able to cut a lot of unnecessary costs, meaning that their jewellery sells for around half the typical retail price. I also appreciate that Linnear is a sustainable brand. They use 100% recycled gold and silver as their materials, which are materials that are made to last. The packaging is also recycled and sustainable, and they have an option to receive your pieces with minimal packaging so you can avoid waste, and they offset the carbon emissions for every shipment. Linnear also has a gorgeous range of diamond jewellery on their website that I've been eyeing up. Their diamonds are lab grown, so they're conflict free, and honestly, some of their rings would make perfect engagement or wedding rings if you're looking for a beautiful ring but don't want to spend thousands of pounds. If 14 karat solid gold and diamonds are out of your budget, Linnear has a gold vermeil and sterling silver range, which is more affordable but also long lasting. I actually have some sterling silver jewellery that I've had for over a decade. It lasts really well, and every time it looks just like a little bit tarnished or worse for wear, I put it in a bowl that I line with aluminium foil. Then I put the jewellery in and a bit of baking soda, like a teaspoon, and then hot water on top and leave it for like 15 to 20 minutes. And it gets rid of all the tarnishing on the sterling silver and makes it look brand new. So if you're in the market for some beautiful new jewellery for yourself or for a loved one, you can use my discount code NatashaC at Linear Jewellery, which you can shop using the link in my description. Thank you so much to Linear for sponsoring this video and gifting me such beautiful jewellery. You will be seeing me wearing all of these pieces for the foreseeable future. But now let's talk about some summer knitting. I'll go in order of how locked in I am into making each item because I already have yarn for one project, which is the Petite Knit Olga sweater. And yeah, maybe a sweater isn't what you want to hear in a summer knitting plans video, but it's going to be made of cotton, so it's fine actually, and I will wear it. I also have never made a single cotton sweater. So let me show you the yarn because the colour scheme is what I'm most excited about. So this sweater pattern is in a DK weight and I'm going to be using these 3 yarns. I think most of the versions of the sweater that I've seen use just 2 colours, but I think these 3 go so well together that I can't say no to them. I got inspiration for this colour scheme from an Instagram reel that I'll put up on the screen, and I am really excited to see this come together. This is me trying to pare down the colours that I knit with, just because from previous experience, branching out in colour never pays off, like not even once. Oh, apart from red, but red isn't branching out for me. Any other brightly coloured garment that I've made, unfortunately, does not get a lot of wear from me. I know they look nicer, especially like in an Instagram picture. The process of learning what I want to wear is seemingly never ending, but I think I'm getting a little bit closer to understanding it, which informs my knitting a lot. The peach colour is a wild card, but I'm hoping that it will be grounded with this grey and this navy. These yarns are all from Hobby. They were gifted to me a few months ago. The navy is 100% cotton. It's their Rainbow 86 in colour number 30. The grey is their cotton silk. This is colour number 117. Really excited to work with this actually, it feels great. And the peach is their Rococo linen, which is a linen cotton viscose blend, and this is in colour number 3. I think this is one of those yarns that has varying weights to it. It's thicker and thinner, so I may be holding this double, but I am really excited to work with these. I think it's going to be quite a big project because the recommended needle size is 4mm, and I particularly like the look of the Olga sweater. It's got quite a big drop shoulder, which is a very similar cut to one of my favourite store-bought sweaters. And I said earlier in the year that I want to stay away from knitting raglan sweaters because I think the drop shoulders suit me a lot more. And yeah, I'm really excited to have this in my wardrobe. I also think that the inclusion of both the grey and the blue mean that it's going to work with grey and blue and white bottoms, which is something that I really want to start thinking about. I want to start thinking about which bottoms I can wear with each of the sweaters that I create, because I made this beautiful like pink and orange gradient sweater last autumn and it just doesn't go with anything. And that makes me sad, and I don't want that same situation again. The second thing that I want to make this summer is a crochet bandana. Now this is a fairly recent epiphany for me because most bandanas and headscarves don't work with my head shape. My head's really flat at the back, and tying anything around the bottom of my neck, like tying a headband, tying a scarf, anything like that, it just slips up really quickly. And even if it doesn't like fully slip up and like fall off my head, it will make my hair sit in a weird way. And so I just always completely wrote them off as something that was not for me. But recently I discovered, right, so I have this satin scarf. I have been loving wearing it folded in half, so it's still really big. And then, let's see if I can do this. Yeah, like tied around like this. And then it doesn't fall off because it's secured not to the bottom of my head, but to the back of it. And not only do I think that this looks cute, but it protects my scalp from getting sunburnt, which happens really easily. And I'm really not like a baseball cap wearer, so this has quite a unique function in protecting my scalp from the sun. And so I think that a crochet version of this specific shape can be tied in the same way, and it will actually stay on top of my head. And I will necessarily wear it because this is actually quite sweaty because I think it's made of polyester. And I hate having sunburnt scalp, and it happens all the time in summer. I haven't yet found any particular pattern to work off of because when I've tried looking it up, all the headbands are the ones that tie around the bottom of your hair. I could freehand it. It couldn't be that difficult. It's just a big triangle. But whether I find a pattern for it or not, it's definitely on the agenda purely for the sake of my poor scalp. Third thing on my list, and this is another definite will do, is I want to crochet a bikini, and I want to do it with this specific yarn from the brand Chamade. This yarn looks so unique. It's a polyamide and lycra mix. I found the brand through the Instagram account Loopy Studio, who has made some swimwear using it, and it seems like the fibre is particularly well suited to being worn in the water. It looks so unique that I'm just really curious to try it, and they have a lot of colours that don't really appeal to me, but there is one quite muted red shade that I could see myself wearing in a bikini. Also, I in general just really struggle with the fit of bikinis. I'm really picky, and I feel like a lot of bikinis are just a bit too skimpy for me to feel comfortable in them. And like, I love skimpy clothes, but recently I found that my favourite swimwear to wear is a tankini top and then some little tie side bottoms. I also feel like I could get on board with the idea of wearing like a small top but then bigger bottoms, but not bigger bottoms in the way that bikini brands make them, where they're just really high-waisted, because I feel like I'm wearing a nappy whenever I try one of those on. But I think like some low-rise shorts, just like one of the two items of the bikini be small and then the other one be a little bit fuller coverage. And so I'm really tempted by the idea of like designing my own swimwear, and I have the ability to make my own clothes, so I will. Moving on to ideas that are less fully formed and thought through. I want a pair of micro shorts. I don't even know if I want to crochet or knit them yet, but I want them. I really love the striped design that I've seen a few knitwear designers put out, but I think I'm more tempted to make a pair that would match a bikini I already have, and I can use it as like a beach cover up. Because to me, these patterns of shorts read very strongly as beachwear and holiday wear, and I think it'd be nice to lean into that and like craft a pair that fit into my other holiday outfits. I'm envisioning bikini top, linen shirt over the top of the bikini, and then a pair of the shorts. Probably in white, to be honest. I really love wearing white in the summer. I also have visions of a drop stitch bolero. I keep seeing crochet bolero patterns and I like them. I don't think I'd wear any of them. I'm not a very bohemian style type person, but I think if I made like a grunge version out of knit instead of crochet, again, I think that would be really nice over a bikini or over a little crop top. I'm not even like completely sold on the idea that it has to be a bolero, but just like a really wide boat neck, wide stitch see-through mesh sweater, specifically in black, over a black bikini top or a black crop top, because I find it so much easier when the weather's a bit cooler in spring and autumn to do multiple layers of tops. But in summer, I find that my style pairs down a lot more because, you know, it's hot. But then whenever I put on like a plain tank top or a plain crop top, I just feel like I could be doing more there. And then I like try and compensate for it with jewelry or a bag. But I think a bolero could be another option to make my outfits more interesting. And then the last idea I have that I'd really like to see through to fruition is a long-sleeved, tight-fitting top with a motif on the front. This is heavily inspired by this one specific picture by Patterned by Lisa. I think this is done on a knitting machine because it looks very fine, but I already own the pattern for blouse number 1 and it doesn't look too dissimilar. And I also have a bunch of leftover Hobbii seashell yarn. This is the yarn. It's in a really nice off-white colour. This is a cotton linen viscose blend. It's fingering weight, but I think I have enough to hold it double to make the blouse number 1. And then I could just come up with my own motif and put it on the front. I've been back on Vinted and I found myself looking at loads of tight-fitting long sleeve tops with like sort of Y2K or 90s motifs on the front, just in cotton fabric. So I'd quite like to make a version instead of, or as well as, shopping for those. I also have a bunch of yarn, so it's a great way to use that up. That's all my concrete or semi-concrete plans, but you know me, you know how much I love my tank tops. I love more tank top patterns than I could ever make, and so I do have a bunch of top contenders that, you know, if I ever have the time, which I probably won't, I would like to make too. I make so many pattern roundup videos and they're all just like tank top patterns, but if you're looking for any more tank top inspiration, this is what I'm currently coveting. So this top by Kat Olivia Designs, love this. There's no pattern for this, but I made the Athens top made by Roche back in January, and I made it in a sage green colour, which was a massive mistake because I haven't worn it purely because of the colour. But I think that that top pattern is very similar to this. Again, I think this one was done on a knitting machine. And then if I just made like a matching skinny scarf, it would have the exact same effect. Next, the Twister Tank by Juicy Loose. This is the coolest cable knit pattern that I have ever seen. And especially whatever yarn and colorway Muggy Knits has used, this is gorgeous. I would wear this so much. I just know that this would take me like a year to complete. I'm also loving the Fiesta Camisole by Elite Studio. This one actually looks a lot more doable because it looks like it's made out of worsted weight yarn, maybe DK. It looks thick, it looks like a faster knit, and it's reversible. So it's got a square neck on one side and a high boat neck on the other side. I prefer the look of the boat neck version, but it's nice that you have two options, and also when you're wearing it as a boat neck, you're gonna have that nice scoop neck at the back, which I love. I actually might make this one because it probably wouldn't take very long, and I love the garter stitch details as well. I am also coveting the Keyhole Halter knitting pattern by Andy Knit Shop. This is a fingering weight yarn pattern. There's absolutely no way I would ever make this. Like, I'm not adding this to my queue, but it's gorgeous. There's also two crochet patterns that I would make if I had 5 sets of hands. The Elsa top by Nikita Crochets. This is a free pattern and it's just such a nice stitch. It's a pretty basic top, but the stitch is so cute. And in the pattern photos, it just looks like it fits her body perfectly. I also love that it's actually got a back to it. So many crochet top patterns are backless. Then one more top pattern, the Junie top by Nat's Record. My favourite thing about this pattern are the little ties on the side. I think that looks so cute, but not like too girly and twee for me to be interested in it. I also love how there's a rib effect stitch that goes all the way up to the bust. I think that's so pretty. I live in hope that I can get around to making some of those tank tops, but I also may revisit this video next summer and make them then. There's no rush. Please let me know what you're planning to make this summer. I would love to hear it. Thank you again to Linear for sponsoring this video. A reminder that you can use my code NatashaC and the link in the description to shop their website. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!